Welcome back to Excel Power Tips, and the next thing we're going to work on is something called filling in text automatically, and this is something that's useful if you're using a large data set, a large block of text if you will. Like this one here, we're going to use a spreadsheet that we've been using in earlier videos, and again, a disclaimer, this is all faux information, none of this is actual addresses here. So I'm not sharing anyone's private data or anything like that. This is all dummy addresses. Okay. Now let's look at autofill. There's two ways I'm going to show you how to do it, and each one's a little bit different. We're going to start by doing something that I like to use quite often, and it has to do with using Control D. But let's show you how that works. Let's assume we want to add a country to this mailing list. And these are all U.S. addresses, so let's have these all be U.S. The country will be U.S. for all these. And one way to do it is actually do Control D. And the other way to do it is double-clicking the fill handle. I'm going to show you both of them right away. Okay. Now for D, each one has its advantages. Control D is just a straight copy, and the thing is, to use Control D, you've got to give it a stopping point. So I've just used my Control Shift function here to get down to the bottom of this row of zip codes, which I know is the bottom of my data set. And I'm going to put a marker here. Could be any number or letter, any character at all. Let's put an H just arbitrarily. And let's go back up to the top here using my Control Up arrow. And now what I want to do is I want to fill the word US, or this little phrase here, all the way down. So I'm going to do Control Shift down arrow, and that selects that whole area. And then I'm going to do Control D. Okay, and that brings, you can see it brought the text all the way down from that first cell in H2 all the way down to H5320 at the bottom here. So that's really quick. I use that one probably more frequently than anything else. The good thing about Control D is wherever you put that marker that we just did, the marker that tells it to stop, it's going to stop there. It's going to keep going until it meets that marker, unless of course there's something else in the way. If you already had something, midway down, let's say you had something here, just you didn't know it, but something was there, and then you add a marker down at the bottom. Like this H, it's going to stop at the first marker. So you've got to hit it twice if you want to go to the last marker. Okay, and then just go, when you got to where you want to be, go ahead and hit Control D, and that'll, again, autofill it down. Okay, that's the first way. Now the second way, I'm going to undo that so I can show you the second way to autofill, is to use the fill handle. And there's a couple ways to do this. In this case, the fill handle is best. What it does is you don't have to add a stopper character down here. You can. Let's try that first. Let's go ahead and add a stopper right there. We just kind of arbitrarily chose a spot. And now if I double click that, the fill handle on the bottom, the lower right, I'm going to double click that, and it is going to fill all the way down to where that stopper was. Okay. But the thing about the fill handle is it will also stop automatically. And by the way, it doesn't overwrite the last little marker. It stops right before it. Now with Control D, it would actually overwrite that. That's kind of a small detail, but it's kind of an interesting distinction. It'll stop before that marker that you've added. But assuming you don't even have a marker, let's make sure there's no other. Let's get rid of all the other markers at the bottom. Okay. Now with the fill handle, and I'm actually going to start all over again here with that. With the fill handle, you can actually, it'll stop wherever there's a break in the column next to it. Okay, so this is the column next to it. And notice how I double click, and let's see where it stopped. Okay, did it go all the way down to the end? No, it stopped where there was a break. This data file, this mailing list file, for this particular record was missing a zip code. So it stopped right there. So what it does when you do the fill handle is it's always aware of, it defaults to the left column. If there's nothing in the left column, it'll actually use the right hand column. But in this case, the left hand column it will default to. If there's a blank spot there, it'll stop. So if you want to use fill handle, you got to keep doing that until you get down to the bottom of the page, or the block of text that you're trying to fill in for. So it can become a little bit tedious to do it that way. And in this case, we only had 2 breaks, so I had to click it a couple of times. So you might be able to see now why I prefer to use the Control D method, because with Control D it'll stop wherever that marker is, regardless of what's on the left here, regardless of whether there's a break in that text. Okay, so those are both excellent techniques, and watch the video again if you have any questions about how to use it.